Many people accuse Christianity of having contributed toward Nazism and the Holocaust and Hitler's anti-Semitism.
Unless you're trying to blame it on SpongeBob SquarePants, I'd say that accusation's pretty well grounded. That's because it did. The church is definitely a co-conspirator to Hitler and the ability for the German people to just sit back and say nothing while these atrocities took place around them. The very anti-Semitism that you're trying to deflect in your video took place so frequently that without the Church of Christ consistently expelling, ruling over, abusing, belittling, accusing, burning, raping, hanging, drowning, strangling, and overall dehumanizing the Jewish people, no one could have ever stomached what would have taken place under Hitler in the 1930s and the 1940s, except for they had already been desensitized to it because there was about 1,000 years in advance of things similar to that going on. If you grow up around it, it's no big whoop if you see it every now and again. So you're lying through your teeth if you say that Christianity as a religion did not contribute to the Holocaust. The book written by Martin Luther on the Jews and their lies was a major influence that I don't know of any academics that would say it wasn't. I mean, unless you're going to sit here and tell me that Martin Luther wasn't a Christian all of a sudden. Or how about the reenactments of the Passion of the Christ? What did Hitler have to say about these plays taken straight from the pages of the New Testament?
It is vital that the Passion play be continued at our market, for never has the menace of Jewry been so convincingly portrayed as this presentation of what happened in the times of the Romans.
And there is a sense in which there was anti-Jewish sentiment that had developed over the centuries, so we can't deny that as Christians.
Wow, how Christ-like of you to be able to admit that. Could you please remind me again, what was the point of your entire video then? Because if it wasn't anti-Judaism, anti-Semitism that caused Hitler to want to kill over 1 million Jews, what was it? He didn't like falafels? Gefilte fish? Maybe the way they pronounce their R's?
And we need to confront that and recognize that and in fact repent of it in that sense. However, Hitler's anti-Semitism was quite distinct from Christian forms of anti-Judaism.
His prejudice was distinct, but his treatment of the Jews was not unique at all. They all ended with the disenfranchisement and eventual murder of Jews, something German Christians already had a history with.
In that Hitler thought the worst thing that possibly could happen would be for Jews to convert to Christianity, which obviously is not what Christianity was going to be offering as the what should happen to Jews. They believed that the Jews should convert. And the reason for that is because in the mid-19th century, many German thinkers who had become secularized began developing a new kind of way of thinking about the Jews, not as a religion, but as a race.
And somehow, I guess, this exonerates Christianity of its past.
And so this secularized form of anti-Semitism, the word anti-Semitism only emerged, in fact, in that context. The word anti-Semitism didn't exist before that time.
Yes, I'm still fully lost how this makes anything better.
This new secularized form of anti-Semitism was based on the idea that Jews pass on their heredity, pass on their traits through heredity, and it has nothing to do with their religion. So when the Nazis persecuted the Jews, they didn't care whether they were atheists, agnostics, whether they were practicing Jews, or whether they'd converted to Christianity.
Yeah, so many Christians in history didn't care if a Jew was religious, secular, or a converted Christian. No Jew was safe from the wrath of the Church of Christ throughout history, probably being modeled best from the years 1478 to 1834, when even conversion could barely save a Jew from the saints of Christ.
They were still sent to Auschwitz or other death camps on the basis of their heritage. So Hitler's view in that sense was quite different from the Christian view of Jews and Judaism.
So basically you're saying that Christianity was not a contributing factor to Hitler and the Nazis because Hitler did not want the Jews to convert, whereas Christianity, on the other hand, wanted the Jews to convert. So what about the Jews that the Christians didn't give a chance to convert or the option to convert before being burned, filleted, or drowned? I mean, come on. You have the name Professor, the title Professor. Have you not read any of John Chrysostom? How about the golden age of Jewry in Spain in 14th century and the end, and how that ended with the Christians coming in? Or how about the clergy during the Holocaust, such as Father Tiso, and I mean his famous, well, I'm pretty sure it's famous, conversation with a Jew who escaped the train to Auschwitz? Have you not read any of this?